talks. Arsenal as a football club going to hold talks with Xhaka about his reaction after he was substituted. For those that don't know, he walked off when they were should have been looking for a winner. He walked off the pitch instead of running off. He took off his armband. Basically, he gave the armband to somebody else. So I mean that happens. So I don't know if he should be criticised for that. And he ripped his shirt off and just went straight down the tunnel. He actually, I'm hearing as well, left before the full-time whistle. He left the ground before the full-time whistle.
Oh, dear.
3 senior players went to go and see him last night to make sure he was okay. So this has happened before with Arsenal. They booed their own player in a Boué who left the field in tears when he was being booed by his own fans. So Arsenal fans have got form for this. I really want to put some focus on Arsenal fans who need to think a little bit harder. You know, it's easy just to boo a player. I mean, that's easy, isn't it? Why don't you think it through? And I've never booed a player for my team. I can't remember ever even thinking about booing a player for my own team. They have bad games, and I get annoyed with them, but booing them is just, it's mad. I mean, he didn't ask to be the captain. He was made the captain. He didn't pick himself in the team. He was picked.
Hey, we talked about this, the problems it'll cause down the line, and people laughed at us when we said
the captaincy thing.
Yeah, the captaincy. It's a stupid situation. The coach is going to be the man who gives you can't rely on your players to pick their mate to be the captain. You can't have it. Straight away, a manager going in there would have realised that Xhaka's not that popular with the fans. He's not a fan's favourite. Straight away, you're alienating the fans. You're testing them. They're giving the captaincy to a player who they believe shouldn't even be in the team. What do they think that is going to do?
You're right. So that, in one decision, has questioned the fans, because they're saying he shouldn't be in the team, and now he's the captain of the team. And if you strip him of the captaincy because of this, which a lot of people seem to be saying should happen, then you're basically undermining a decision made by the players. And he clearly has some friends in that team as well, so how are they going to feel about it all? So you've got a manager here who I think should be questioned. And by the way, there is a national newspaper which is running an article, should Emery be sacked? And they're asking all their football writers whether he should be sacked. This is how serious it is. I think it is getting to the point where they're starting to question whether the manager should be in position, because this season alone, he's had 1 season, and he's given a free hit basically in that season. And they didn't manage to get top 4. They got to a Europa League final and got absolutely humiliated in the second half by Chelsea. Could it be any worse than that? He's decided now that the best way forward is to freeze out Mesut Ozil and give Granit Xhaka the captaincy. So these are big decisions that Unai Emery is making. Are they correct decisions? Are the fans, they're booing Granit Xhaka because he's had a terrible game. There's nothing new in that. But should it really be Unai Emery they're looking at, questioning? That's the real thing here. We've got gooners who work on the show. One of them, Adonis, it's his real name, said, "I don't recognise my club anymore." Now, that to me that says it all. Is it a broken club? And I know where they are in the table. Please don't bang on about that. It's because they've got a couple of really good strikers. The fans, for me, behave disgracefully. It's a club that, all these years on from the Aboué incident, Darren, it's a club where the fans are still booing their own player to the point where his own teammates are concerned about his well-being.
It's a difficult situation, this, because I get both sides of it. The fans booing the player, I never like it, purely because I've been not been booed, but I've had people question my commitment or question something I've done on a cricket pitch.
Just explain to us when that was and what happened.
Obviously I was an England player, wasn't I? Yeah. So I was one of the first centrally contracted when they first came out. Nobody quite understood it. I was the guinea pig, basically. So every time I then played for Yorkshire, when I was allowed to play, not because I wanted to play, when I was allowed to play, the fans just didn't get it, the Yorkshire members, who tended to be the older fraction, the old history with Yorkshire cricket and all that. And they used to question my commitment and all that stuff, which used to really rile me. And if I got hit for 4, I'd hear the rumblings, and I lost it. I'd tell them to shut up. I'm not afraid to say it. I'd just say, shut up. And in the end, I thought it was the best for all parties for me to leave. And that's one of the reasons I left. Because I just thought, they're just never going to get it. They don't understand it. You know what I mean? I actually had the chance, I went back and got over it, you know what I mean? I had to do it. It was one of those things I had to do and go back, and they were brilliant. when I went back as captain. They were excellent.
They probably understood it by then.
Well, they understood it then because they'd seen then after me, they'd seen everybody else come through, like Craig White, Ryan Sidebottom, Matthew Hogarth, Chris Silverwood. I could go on and on and on. Michael Vaughan, Joe Root, and everybody else. They've seen them all come through, and they understood, but they see it as, oh, they're available for us. Oh, that's great. You know what I mean? Rather than, oh, he's playing for England, he's not bothered about playing for Yorkshire. Well, that's not the case. I just wasn't allowed. And so I know how it affected me, so I actually understand what Xhaka must be feeling. When he came off that pitch, people are going on about what he said in his ear. Just think about that. He's walking off as a footballer for a football club. He's trying his hardest for. He might not be playing well, but he's trying his hardest. And he's got his own team booing him and telling him to get off. What do you think he's going to do? You know what I mean? He's a human being. Nobody likes that sort of criticism straight at you like that. It's like him going up to one of the fans, going up to his face and screaming, "You're not a fan. You're pathetic." How would that fan respond?
They can't boo him and expect him not to react. I think I totally get that. For me, there's nothing positive about what happened at the Emirates yesterday. All round, from the manager, from the player, from the captain, from the fans as well. But they've got form for this, the fans.
What makes it worse, and you're spot on, is the fact that he's giving him the captaincy. A player, a lot of the fans don't believe, he doesn't belong in the starting 11. That is the problem. He could have stopped all that problem. Now, if it had just been one of the other players, it'd have happened. Still distasteful, but you kind of say, well, he's not the captain, you know what I mean? He's a player, he's got to get over it. The captain's going to lift him. How's the captain going to lift everyone else? He's going to lift himself. Because he's the one who's getting booed, and he's the leader of that team.
The captaincy at Arsenal, it's been ridiculous, the history of it. You could write a book about it. Van Persie left to go and win something somewhere else. Henry left to go and win something somewhere else. Fabregas left to win things elsewhere. Now Xhaka's being booed off the field as the Arsenal captain. Let's speak to Tom, who's a Gooner. Hiya, Tom, you're on TalkSport. What do you want to say?
How you doing? You right?
Yeah, very good. Good to have you on.
So, thanks for giving me the chance. Basically, I think I do feel sorry for Granit Xhaka because obviously I'm a human being, so naturally it's not a nice situation. But I think the fans can kind of do and say up to a point whatever they want because they're the ones who are paying to see the team week in, week out. And I think it's comparable to Hector Bellerin a couple of years ago, again against Crystal Palace. And everyone was shouting, "You're not fit to wear the shirt," this and that. And he came back and he kind of, he made his action speak for him. So I think Xhaka's got a lot to do, really. Like, he should firstly apologise, and then when he's given a chance again, let his action speak for him.
What's he apologising?
Are the fans apologising? Are the fans apologising?
Well, I mean, every fan's got its own opinion, and they've got their right to their own opinion, I guess. They're paying the money to go and see him. I'm sure some fans probably feel a bit guilty about it, but in the heat of the moment, people react and they do the same thing as what Xhaka does. He's reacted, but at the end of the day, he's the one getting paid a fortune to play for a team that a lot of people would die to play for. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a difficult one, and like I say, I feel sorry for him, but at the end of the day, the fans can say what they want to a point, because they're the ones paying. And I think in the future, his actions will have to his actions will be very important moving forward. Being the captain and in his performances.
Tom, thanks for the call. I mean, there's a couple of things that you've said there I just want to pick up on. That thing about singing to a player, "You're not fit to wear the shirt." I mean, really? And you're judging that based on what? Whether it was Bellerin or Xhaka, whoever it might be. They might not be playing well, but all right, if they've done something that seriously undermines the football club, then fine, they may not be fit to wear the shirt. But Granit Xhaka may not be the best player in the world. I don't think he should be in the Arsenal first 11. I don't think he's that good. Certainly shouldn't be captain. But not fit to wear the shirt is some accusation. You're talking about somebody's professionalism here. And also, he's just said there, a lot of fans would die to play for Arsenal. Seriously, they wouldn't. Honestly, if you gave them the choice, think about what you're saying. If you gave them the choice, they absolutely wouldn't choose to die and play for Arsenal, because it literally couldn't happen. Think about it. I said this very quickly on this. I said this to Stuart Pearce at the World Cup last year. I said, there are so many fans, though, Stuart, they give a right arm to play for England. He said, well, have a think about that. If somebody came to you and said, you can play for England as long as you chop your right arm off, would you do it? I said, well, no, you're right. And it just makes you think again. People talk rubbish when it comes to football because they let the emotions take over. Arsenal were 2 up, drew 2-2, and they all got so angry they booed Granit Xhaka to the point where his teammates had to go round and cheer him up. Look at yourselves, Arsenal fans.